Melody, are you ready for mealtime? Cause here comes the choo-choo train! I am the G.O.D, and this is the Melody, and today we're going to be talking about mealtime. When your baby's really young, obviously they're going to be feeding on breast milk, basically all the time, or formula, don't shoot me. But around 4 to 5 months, they're going to start grabbing things and wanting to eat different foods, solids. They want to put stuff in their mouth, like this little booger right here. Hey, beautiful. For a new dad, it is going to be scary, because you're going to try to wonder, how am I supposed to introduce solids to this thing that's never eaten solids before, you know? Before 4 to 5 months, babies have a gag reflex. Kind of like that. Not a normal gag reflex like you and me. They have a specific, geez Louise, Melody, bongos, monster here. They don't have a normal gag reflex. They have a specific gag reflex. As soon as something touches their tongue, they'll try to spit it out if it's not a liquid. If it's not mama's milk, if it's anything solid, they'll instantly just go and spit it out, like they're throwing up, kind of. So completely different than normal gag reflex. They start losing it around 4 to 5 months, around there. And that is when you start introducing your baby to some solid foods. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a pediatrician, but please talk to a pediatrician before introducing your baby to certain foods. I know parents will just kind of go, you know, whatever, we'll just give this to her or whatever, but, you know, if it's something that you're not really sure about, you know, especially seafood, for one, you want to go ahead and talk to your pediatrician about it. So how do we get rid of that little baby 4 to 5 months gag reflex? I'm going to tell you a little story. Melody and I were struggling with foods around then because what was going on is, like, I would try to spoon feed her every time. We had these little plasticky spoons meant for babies. As soon as you put anything against the lips, just around their mouth, she started gagging and didn't want to take it in at all. And it was kind of weird because I was like, well, I mean, around this time she should be able to take in some solid foods, or at least semi-solid foods like applesauce. Get a sturdy table, especially if your daughter is going to become like a human jackhammer. But anyway, what I found out that worked for us, we would put liquidy solid foods on the table like applesauce, not in a bowl. We weren't trying to feed it to her. We just plopped it on the table. You lay it on the table. And what that does is that, oh Melody, I love you. You hear Daddy talking? So what you do is you lay the food down. This is too solid for babies, but you lay the food down and you let them feel it with their hands. Like if it's applesauce or some sort of liquidy kind of thick substance. We usually do that in the beginning, like oatmeal, sort of things like that. They feel it with their hands, and it actually helps them develop and get rid of that old baby gag reflex, because they'll actually put it in their own mouth, and they'll taste it and move it around for themselves, and that kind of helps them get them out of that baby state. It also makes the baby feel that you're not like forcing them food. They're kind of just doing it by themselves. Now obviously the parents, you are forcing them food, but you know, but they don't know that, So some parents choose to keep their baby on liquidy foods, even up to an older age like Melody. What we did is we did something different, and it's called baby-led weaning. What it is that your baby is going to get attracted to certain foods, either things that you eat, or they'll just see something that they like. And if they take a liking to it, and they're like, I want to try that, why not let them have a try? Now, obviously, if it's like seafood or something that is, you know, like a jawbreaker, something they can easily choke on, you probably don't want them to eat it. But if it's something like oranges or little rice cakes, you know, if they want something like that and they're feeling it and they want it, let them try it. So for example, we bought these little baby rice cakes. And you know, like the normal rice cakes a big person would eat, but they're tiny, they're little, and they pretty much dissolve in your mouth. They're kind of like cereal bites. And she loves those, and we let her try that, and they're meant for babies. Easy, done. But what's interesting, so with baby-led weaning, they'll kind of choose what they want to try out, right? Now, for me, one of the things that I love eating, and I eat olives all the time. So the weirdest thing is that Melody wants some olives. She watches me eat them. Melody, she watches me eat them. That's really good. And she wants to try for herself, because I'm daddy and she looks up to daddy. Now, we don't give her a lot of olives because they're because they're very high in sodium. So what I do is I squish one down so that it's really hard to choke on. Put it right there in front of her. If she tastes it and she doesn't like it, it's completely fine. If she likes it, you can give it to her as like a treat every now and then. And what's the funniest thing is that I was like, she's not gonna like olives at all. She ends up really liking olives. It's just weird. I was like, I've never heard of a baby liking olives before. She loves them. It's probably the salt, but I try not to give her too many. It's just kind of a treat every once in a while if she's watching me eat them. It's not that big of a deal. So make sure to get age-appropriate foods for your child. Now, obviously, if they're, before like 6 months, you don't really have any teeth. So what you want to do is you want to get like strawberries or any fruit, and you put them in this little sack right here. I forget what this thing is called. Close it up, and so they won't swallow it, or if like they can't swallow and they have that gag reflex still, what they'll do is they'll chew on this. You wanna try? She remembers this thing, and there's just no food in it right now. She'll chew and suck on it, and it will get all the nutrients and kind of in the juice out of these fruits without having all the hard stuff in it that she could choke on. Yeah, you can literally put anything in it. I mean, you could cut up a steak. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. I mean, you could technically put meat in this thing and let them chew on it. Now, I don't think they'll get that much nutrients out of a steak just because of the fact that it's kind of rough and it's very hard to break down. But fruit and vegetables and stuff that can easily be broken down, especially like carrots, if you boil a carrot. Put that in there, she'll go ahead and just chow down on it. I forgot to recommend this, you guys. Now, for us, we're doing a video. We're trying to show you guys something, present some information to you guys. So we have her kind of dressed up all nicely, and we don't have the bib and everything on her. But in reality, you don't want them dressed up when you're feeding, because it gets messy. You give them spaghetti, you give them rice, you give them any of this stuff. What are you laughing about? You give them any of this stuff, it's going to be all over their face, it's going to be all over their stomach, and you want to go ahead and just take all this stuff off, keep them in the diaper, and go ahead and put a little bib on them so they're not completely messy, and usually take them and give them a little bath afterwards, a little rinse off. Get the hose in the backyard, no, I'm just kidding, don't do that. What I like about this bib, better than the regular just kind of it lands on you and falls off sort of bibs, is that it has like a little scooper on it. So basically whenever she's eating, anything drops on her chest, which there's going to be a lot because their little hands are they just kind of grab everything and it falls out. It will land in here, and it's pretty easy cleanup. You can just scoop it out and just bam. And sometimes, like especially with fruit and vegetables and stuff like that, they'll try to eat it and it will fall out, and they're perfectly good vegetables. They haven't landed on the ground or anything. You just rip them out, put them back there, and you saved yourself some time cleaning up. And they also get to eat all their food and it won't drop on the floor. So, it's a win-win. Once they start getting older, I don't know, I should chew on her bib, but once they get a little older and they start being able to kind of suck down juice, and you want to buy a juice cup. And this is one of the coolest juice cups I've actually seen, and it doesn't have like a little nozzle on it. What it is, it's like a plunger upside down, and no liquid spill out of it, but if you sip on it, the juice will actually come out, which is really cool. Like I was like, wow, they should have invented this when I was little, because I used to spill stuff all the time. This is really good for babies too that don't know how to sip on straws yet, because it's a little tiny hole. It's hard for them to figure that out sometimes. But this, they just put their whole mouth on it, clamp down, and just suck away, and there you go. Obviously, don't leave your baby unattended during mealtime, because, you just want to make sure they don't choke on things, Definitely look up baby-led weaning and figure out if it's right for you. It definitely worked wonders with Melody. Also, too, I mean, she's never been very picky with foods, so basically any food you put in front of her, she's like her mama. She likes food. She basically just picks up anything that it looks good, and basically anything I'm eating looks good to her, and she's literally stealing food out of my mouth as I'm trying to eat it. So, I mean, that's kind of her since day one. But if your baby has any trouble eating certain foods, this is a good way to do it. You put things in front of them, let them pick the foods that they want to eat. Now, obviously, you want them to eat a good diet. They can't be just eating cookies all day. But put things different in front of them. See if they just will pick it up and try it themselves. And that's what we did. And she's never had an issue. She basically, anytime we put something in front of her that's new, she at least tries it. And to be honest with you, she hasn't really disliked anything yet. So we put a little tangerine right there for her. She actually doesn't really eat the whole tangerine. What she usually does is she usually just chomps down on it, sucks all the juice out of it, and then just kind of discards the carcass of the tangerine. All I'm saying, guys, is that when your baby's old enough, don't be afraid for them to try different foods. Definitely go ahead and throw some new stuff in there that's fairly baby appropriate. At first, you're going to go ahead and you're going to add one specific food and have them eat that kind of for 3 days just to see if they have any allergic reactions to it. And then you can go ahead and just kind of keep upping the ante and, introducing them to new foods. And that's what we've done. And she's liked everything, and she hasn't... Hi, beautiful. And she's loved every single moment. So have fun with your baby during mealtime. That's what I'm trying to say. Thank you guys so much for supporting us. Please like, share, and subscribe. Comment on this video if you'd want to. Ask any questions about the baby-led weaning stuff, because my wife really looked into this. And until next time, you guys, see ya!